What's up? It's your boy Ida Hoagie here with Brian, not the man Keen. Welcome to the Nerdthusiast Poker Podcast, your exclusive place for two idiots talking about poker and our little adventures along the way. So we are virtual.
Yeah, man. Couldn't hook up this month, but I come from you from the shadows of Shaolin.
From the slums of Shaolin, Wu-Tang Clan strikes again.
My Miami Dolphins throne, if you will, my cave.
It's funny that you just dropped a Wu-Tang reference. For some reason on my TikTok algorithm lately, there's been like a ton of Wu-Tang stuff, so I don't know what that's all about, but it's flowing.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, if you're new to here, welcome to the podcast. We are two poker players that just like to talk poker. We don't really get too much strategy. It's more just kind of about what's going on in the world of poker. What we experience, what we go through. And we are part of the brand Nerdthusiast, which is a brand that has all kinds of fun stuff. And you can go check it out on Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, literally everything. We do gaming and wrestling and music and all kinds of fun stuff. But me and Brian, we head up the poker side of things. And we just got back from a little Nerdthusiast exclusive getaway, I guess you want to say.
Yeah,
I don't know.
man, it's my first one in quite some time. Really enjoyed it. We got to go down to Fort Lauderdale. Pompano was where we went. I had a blast. The weather wasn't the best. We had a couple of days of sun, but we had a lot of days of rain. But yeah, just being in the casino, grinding every day, especially cash tournaments. Man, I didn't want to leave. I had a blast.
Yeah, so we went down to Pompano. I usually do this trip about every February. Me and Brian are from New Jersey, and if you don't know New Jersey, in January, February, it's brutally cold. And listen, people up in Canada listen to this, or Michigan are probably like, that's not cold, but it's 20 degrees here. That's cold enough for me. If it gets below freezing, it's just that, that's too cold for me. And so the little trip, they have the circuit event every year in Southern Florida. They've moved it around a little bit, but Harrah's has just bought the property at Pompano, and they had it there last year, and now it looks like it's going to be a circuit stop every year. Or I'm hoping. They had a ton of people there, so I'm hoping that it is. What did you think about the casino?
The casino was nice. I mean, it was in a pretty good location, other than the construction that was going on. So, we got there in the midst of them. I'm guessing they're putting a hotel kind of in the same vicinity, or something to that effect. I don't know if it's a hotel or maybe it's a Topgolf. They're doing some sort of construction.
I think it's both, actually. I think they're putting a Topgolf and a hotel there, which would be nice because having it's got a lot of room because, okay, so people don't know, jump back a minute. Florida was known for used to having a ton of Greyhound races. Now, I can't remember, and I wanted to bring this up before. Did you go down with us senior year when we went to dog races with Mina?
No.
Oh, so we went down to Florida on spring break, and I know me and you went down a couple times during college, but the one time our buddy Mina, who lives down there still to this day, I believe, we met up with him I think it was our senior year, but I think we kind of split off. You might have went somewhere else or whatever, but
yeah, I wound up going to New Orleans that year. It was right before Katrina too, like the year before Katrina hit.
Yeah. Yes. And so we went to Mina's and we crashed at Mina's, which now it's bringing back a bunch of random memories. We went to Mina's, and he took us to a dog track, and we ended up watching dog racing. But then a couple years ago, they put it on the ballot, and they put it up for vote in the state. And this was it was the year I think we went down with Naylor.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this before. You might have talked about this before.
Yeah, so they banned it. Yeah, I talked about one of the things. So anyway, a lot of the casinos now, they got rid of it. So they have all this dead space.
Uh-huh.
They have all this, which was a track, and unless they're running horses, which is a whole nother issue, it takes a lot of, logistics and things to do all that. If they're not running horses and they can't run dogs, they have this huge track of space. So a lot of these casinos, looks like Harrah's Pompano, they're converting all those spaces to hotels or other things, other amenities to help. And I think Harrah's Pompano is going to be a pretty hot spot because they have a lot of room there. Like, that's a big, even though the casino is not that big, the ground there's a lot of ground there.
I mean, my number one thing is like we got a pretty decent Airbnb. You know, slept 5. We had a pool. It was like right on the water. It was nice, but it cost us. And you know, we've talked about it plenty of times on here. You know, trying to save a dime. You know, once a casino is attached, then your comp points come into play, and we probably would pay a lot less to go down there to stay for the long weekend with our players cards than we would, you know, pretty much paying for an Airbnb. Not to mention, we spent, I wouldn't say too much money, but we spent a decent amount of money Ubering back and forth from the casino to the Airbnb. You know, if we're on site and all we have to do is really Uber out, I mean, how much time did we spend in the casino the whole weekend? Probably, you know, I was there 12 or 13 hours, 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, I wasn't really going off site, but yeah, it's definitely going to add to it where you're going to see a lot more people coming probably for those circuit events when they know that they have a place to stay attached, because, you know, they had like pretty decent numbers, but I would expect them to have even bigger showings if people knew they could, 1, use their players' points to get a room, and 2, it was on site, on location. They wouldn't have to find a place to stay elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's only going to get bigger there. I mean, they have a decent sized poker room, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much bigger they can go because they don't have like a convention center there that I know of or anything like that, unless they build something.
Yeah, they'd have to do something to manage, you know, a big field like that in each individual flight. But I mean, overall, the casino was nice. I'll be perfectly honest, man. I didn't even really step foot on the floor. Like, I didn't go out into like where the slot areas were. Like, I didn't really eat there because, like, you know, I've been kind of on like a strict diet. I just pretty much saw the poker room, and that was it, dude.
Just agended up,
But
man.
hey, man, I loved every second of it. I mean, it's funny you mentioned the weather too, and it's kind of funny because our winter for the most part has been, I don't want to say mild, but we haven't gotten any snow. We haven't had like a big cold spell. My dog's in here creeping.
That's all right.
And we wound up going the one weekend where it was like 15 degrees up here.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, "You lucky SOB, we're up here freezing our asses off, and you're down there in Florida." I'm like, "Yo, we picked the perfect weekend to go."
Yeah, I look forward to just getting off that plane. It's like 80 degrees.
I know.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And then you come back to Philadelphia. I'm like, I'm definitely biased, but the Philadelphia airport is the most dreary place I think on the face of the earth, dude. It just has that gray monotone. The sky is always gray the day I come home. It's just miserable. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's seriously like that whole area. It's like it's never sunny over the Philly airport ever. It's like you drive in, you're like, my flight's getting canceled for sure. Like, it's going to rain any second.
So we gotta talk about that. So first, we'll jump to that in a second. The Joe Samaro story.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
So Frank from Nerdthusiast, who was a writer, he was also there. Our buddy Pierre and our buddy Joe, who comes along on a lot of my slot and poker adventures. You guys have probably seen him as well. So it was like an informal Nerdthusiast poker meetup, and surprisingly, all 5 of us cashed in at least one tournament that weekend, which was pretty impressive. Like, you know, when you think of the odds of, like, you know, we weren't playing a million tournaments. We played like 2 or 3 maybe each, and we all cashed, which was awesome. I mean, we didn't really profit anything huge. None of us made any like super deep smashes, but we all cashed, and it was like, it's just taking that like feeling off your back. Like, you know, it softens the blow of your weekend when you're like, all right, you know what? I got a couple of grand back in my pocket. Like, we're good to go. It, you know,
well, I
doesn't
mean,
hurt as much.
So without getting into the weeds, like you know, you guys got there a little earlier than I did, and when I got there, it was kind of like, you know, Joe, he's making a deep run, and he winds up cashing the first day. I didn't even play. Like, I might have played a little bit of cash if you play a tournament. So right then and there, I'm like, oh no. Like, and look, I'm gonna say it. Of the 5 of us that were there, Joe is heads and tails the absolute worst player of the 5 of us. So I'm like, dude, if Samaro is cashing this event, I have to cash, like no doubt. And then just fast forward, and I'm not a bad beat guy at all, but we both made a deep run.
Yeah, we both ran deep.
And I stone cold bubbled the cash spot with kings, ran into aces, and I was like, I was sick to my stomach because like I'm like, not only did Samaro cash before I did, but the one spot where I'm like, all right, I got this. I run kings and aces on the stone cold bubble, and I'm like, this is it. This is my karma. Samaro's cashing, and I'm gonna go home broke.
Oh man. And then and so then I cashed, and then you cashed the next day, and Frank cashed.
Yep.
And then Pierre was the one left holding the bag, but then he cashed in the seniors event on the last day. So it worked out. We all kind of found a little sweet spot. And I felt a little crappy because I was 2 away from making day 2. And I don't know. I had a couple spots where I just kind of kicked myself in the ass, but I was very close to making that day 2, which had a huge payout, man. That was a huge field to go on a run there.
I know.
And they had a great turnout.
I mean, I'm not someone who talks a lot. Like we don't really talk strategy or like game type and stuff like that. But man, like it was just a soft field too. Like I was getting away with stuff that I knew I would never have gotten away with up here. And I'm like, man, if I can just survive like one flip or just get that one spot where I can get like a solid double, like I knew I was going to make, like I could make day 2, but it was just like, you got to avoid those landmines at those spots where everyone's shipping like 15, 20 bigs and you're like, what do I do here? So.
Yeah. So speaking of Joe's our friend and character. So okay, I got to tell this story because it's just the most ridiculous story ever. And so on the flight there, me, Frank, and Joe, all flew together on the same flight in from Florida. Now, if you don't know Joe is he's in our poker league and he comes on all the adventures. He's a good dude. He's like, he'll do anything for you. And he'll talk to anybody though. Like I will not talk to people. Like people always think I'm a miserable mother effer because I will just not talk to you. It's against me in the poker table sometimes. The people that don't know me, they just think I'm an asshole. I definitely have that like vibe if you don't know me. And so, but Joe is like this big dude, big beard, and a little intimidating looking if he wasn't outgoing, but he's the most outgoing person. Complete opposite. Most outgoing person will talk to a wall basically.
Honestly,
on the plane there.
Be real. He will talk to you even when you're not listening. Okay. Joe talks a lot. Okay.
So he's on the plane.
If we can throw a picture of Joe up, someone's going to be like, oh, I've sat next to that guy before. He told me like 15 damn beat stories.
I'll put a note. Pick of Joe. But they know Joe because first off, I made a little video. So you guys will see a video on our Nerdthusiast YouTube channel. You can see a little video I made of the trip, and that will be up there. And you guys have probably seen Joe if you've been following us because he's in a couple of our poker videos and my slot videos and things. So anyway, he's on the plane, right? And he's behind me. And I think he's closer to Frank. And so then on the way off the plane, he's like talking to this like whole family, like they're best friends for life. And I'm like, who's that? He's like, I don't know. I just met him on the plane. And they're like, the little kid's like, Joe, Mr. Joe. I'm like, what is happening,
Uncle
Joe?
Joe?
Like,
Uncle Joe.
Yeah, Uncle Joe. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, there are these people I met, blah, blah, blah. They're coming down here. They're on the same flight home as us next week. And we just got to talk. And it's like, it's a mom, a dad, a grandma. I think there's like 4 kids or whatever. So then, okay, we were there for the weekend. And then everyone left on Monday. And then again, me, Frank, and Joe had the same flight home. So we decided to go to Coconut Creek on Monday because our flight wasn't originally until like 5 o'clock or something like that. So we got up we had to be out of the Airbnb by like 10 or 11. And then we went over to Coconut Creek and we were going to grind cash for a couple hours. And then we were going to go to the airport. So we literally just got to Coconut Creek. We literally sat down on a cash table. All 3 of us were on the same cash table. It was a brand new table that opened up. We were there, I swear, 10 minutes. And then we all get an email or a message that like our flight's canceled. Like, oh, come on. It's the worst. So, yeah. So me and Frank jump on our emails real quick and we're able to reschedule the flight, and we get a flight like an hour earlier or something. There was another flight. So we're like, all right, cool. Joe, his app wasn't attached to his email or something like that on his phone. So he had to call his wife because she had the email at home. She logged into the computer. Long story short, by the time she got on, the flight was already full for the adjustment flight. So he had to go right to the airport. So he drove to the airport like right away, trying to figure something out when he got there. And me and Frank were going to meet him there later. So we get to the airport and we call Joe and like, what's the deal? And he's like, dude, he's all pissed off. Joe is upset about everything at all times anyway. So I was like, oh no. So he can't get a flight. So he's like, I don't know. I'm going to go down and try to rent a car or something.
Not to mention you slept on the couch all week. So
yeah. So it was just miserable.
Worse.
So anyway, so then me and Frank are eating tacos and Joe calls me back and he's like in a good mood. I could tell right away. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, listen, you'll never believe. He's like, remember that family I met on the way here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're all going to rent a car together and drive home to Philadelphia. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, you're going to drive home with some random ass family that you just met? I'm like, first off, Joe, I know you, and I wouldn't even let you in my car all dig that long for 24 hours with a.
Seriously.
And if I had like daughters or kids, like I'm not gonna let some 6-foot man with a beard that I just met on a plane in the car with my kids. And they did, and then they're like calling him Uncle Joe the whole ride home. He like sent me pictures. They're at like rest stops, like it looked like a family picture. I'm like, what? That's the picture. I gotta add that picture. The family rest stop picture. I'm like, is this serious right now, Joe? And they're like best friends. I'm like, okay, only Joe would have that adventure story.
Yeah.
Like,
it's ridiculous. Their ears were probably bleeding like 3 hours into the drive.
Well, he said like one kid threw up. They had to pull over. They're cleaning up puke. I'm like,
God,
Jesus,
dude, what a nightmare.
Yeah, but that's showing up. But whenever we go places, like Joe's the guy. I've seen him work his magic, and it's like you're like, this is never gonna work, and it works, and you're like, what? I saw one time at Caesars, right? I'm gonna throw out one more Joe story here, offbeat here. When we were in Vegas last year, I guess you weren't there that time.
I think we went different times. You went the week after me last year.
Okay, so we were there with a bunch of people. I can't remember. It was me, Joe. Joe's buddy was there. Like 2 of his buddies happened to be out there at the same time. So we went to a Caesar's buffet. It was like a Friday night, right? Because I love Caesar's buffet. It's definitely a buffet.
Yeah, it's
best
legit.
Buffet. We get over there and there's a line, and we start walking to this other line, and we get like whatever to the front, and the lady's like, do you have a reservation? And I'm like, shit, we don't have a reservation. And someone's like, say something to someone else, and like, you need it on your phone. And Joe goes in this whole rant with this lady about how like the app wasn't working. He like just bullshitted his way. And I guess this lady got so tired of talking to him for like 3 or 4 minutes. She's like, just go. And she let us go in. So we jumped in front of like 300 people and got into the buffet on like a Friday night at Caesar's prime time. And like Joe just magically worked his way. He's like complaining about this and that. And he got us in, man. So, I don't know. It just, you think he's not going to work his magic, and it works.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I was a little bit apprehensive about the whole thing, knowing that he was going just because of how he is at league and stuff. But it wasn't too bad. I had a really good time.
I got to tell the best story, though, and I know I've already said it. So I wake up, okay. So, a bunch of guys, a bunch of alpha males in the same house, all talking shit all weekend, like, poker players, egos, throwing all the mix. Like, I'm like, this is going to end bad at one point. There's 5 of us. It's not like 2 of us where we can kind of whatever. So it's Saturday morning, I think it was, and I hear yelling at like 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I have my white noise on my phone, so I sleep with it, and it's like blurring out most of the sound. I just hear Joe and Brian yelling. Like, I'm not even talking, effing yelling. And I'm like, oh no, like, there's about to be a fight. So I'm about to jump out of it.
I'm trying to get a word in edgewise over Joe. That's what I'm trying to do. But go ahead.
But the best part is though, like I wake up like thinking there's about to be a Royal Rumble in the living room, and all of a sudden I turn off the white noise on my phone, and all I hear is, "Nah, bro. Like if there's aliens and they're going planet to planet, then it's gonna be." I'm like, are these idiots screaming about aliens and like extraterrestrial planets right now at like 8 in the morning on Saturday? Is this a real conversation that's happening right now?
Listen, it was an insightful conversation about alien species putting human DNA in the primordial muck, and that's how existence became a thing. Human life became a thing from the primordial muck.
Wow.
And then we started talking about all kinds of different stuff. Even in the Uber drive over with our singing Uber driver, Uber Joe. Listen, man, it was a good trip. We had a blast. It was a really good time.
Yeah, so we'll have another one. I don't know. Me and Joe were already talking. I talked to Pierre. Might do a little road trip, maybe in the fall, like a day or two, like we kind of did last year to Pittsburgh for like maybe 2 days. Nothing too crazy, but this time maybe down to Virginia because there's a new poker room. There's a Rivers casino that just opened a poker room down in Virginia, so might make a road trip down there, maybe hit like Baltimore, Horseshoe, and like Delaware Park on the way, and just make a little mini road trip out of it. So, but anyway, that was a little review of our Florida trip. It went well. I look forward to it every year, so I'm looking forward to it again next year. Can't wait.
Yep.